there's two main things that are really coming to mind for me that people are going to be struggling with when they're isolated at home. The first is getting out of a normal routine. That's one of the things that can make us really vulnerable to our mood deteriorating. So it's going to be really important for people when they are at home, probably working from home, maybe looking after kids at home, to keep some sort of routine going. So whether that be having set times that they do things, whether it be getting up, getting dressed, doing the tasks around the house, but having a plan for the day, because that's the thing that keeps us going in our normal day-to-day lives anyway.
Especially if you're having a crack at some sort of homeschooling, doing a timetable, doing an actual schedule would be incredibly helpful for children and adults alike. But even if you're not, even if you're at home on your own, have a clear routine in place so that although you're not going to arrest yourself if you diverge from it, you kind of have you get rid of that sense of floating aimlessly in space.
Exactly, and we all need some sort of purpose, and it's going to be hard to keep purpose going when some of our normal daily activities might involve going out and socialising or going to the gym or going to a class. So even finding alternatives to the things that we might be normally doing out and about with other people, finding ways of doing that at home is going to be really important. I think the other thing that really stands out to me is the anxiety that people are dealing with. And, I'm conscious that even though I do the job that I do, I'm dealing with my own anxieties about uncertainty, about, what's going to happen at work and money and all that kind of stuff. But I guess one thing that I really wanted to share that helps me and is something that I do with my clients is when worry comes up, thinking about what type of worry it is. So is it something that is happening right now, something that you can tangibly get hold of and do something about? So I often use the example of a bill coming through the door that you didn't expect. What would you do in that circumstance? And thinking about the steps that you would take to try and resolve that as a problem. The other type of worry that people commonly experience is worry about things that haven't happened yet, things that are future-based.
Yes.
And we would call those hypothetical worries, things that haven't happened yet but might. And what we commonly try to do is work the same way with those worries that we would with problems, but we can't problem solve something that hasn't happened yet. So I guess for anyone who's listening who is waiting for more information from the government, this is something that is out of our control. It's something we need to wait to get that tangible information for before we can do anything, anything proper.
I had a go at some of this earlier myself from a position of abject absence of qualifications, but the phrase that always helps me is, where does my power lie? And if you can answer that question honestly, you may realise that the thing you're worrying about now is not going to be changed in any way, shape or form by anything you can currently do. So if where does my power lie? Not here. Try and move your mental space onto something that perhaps you can affect a change over and not obsess quite so much about the unknown unknowns.
Definitely. I had a client who I worked with recently, who obviously I won't name,
Good.
but this person, whenever she had a worry come up, would say to herself, is this something I can do something about? Can I do something about this right now?
Exactly.
And if the answer was no, she was letting it go. And it's such a powerful thing that we can do.
It's not
right
easy.
now.
It's not easy. You have to. It's like a muscle, isn't it? You have to train yourself to be able to do this. But the sooner you start, the sooner you finish.
Definitely, and I would encourage people, if they really are struggling with worry, write it down and have a think, ask yourself that question.
Sometimes, with I don't know whether you work with children or adults, but sometimes flowcharts work in this position as well. So you give yourself a choice of answers to it. Is this something I can fix? If yes, go to this box. If no, go to that box. I'm sure there are resources online that would help with that if the children are suffering in particular.
There are loads of resources online, and I would say that anyone who's really struggling, if they contact their local Improving Access to Psychological Therapy service, so it's IAPT service, usually there's information online. You can access one-to-one help over the phone. There's online therapy that people can access. So if you really are struggling to the point where it's having a detrimental effect on your well-being, please contact our services.
Yes.
There's people waiting to help.
What else are we thinking?
And in terms of things that people could be doing at the moment, eating well.
What about someone who is not suffering but who wants to help someone who is? How might we best help others?
Social contact in other ways is going to be a massive thing. Reaching out to people. Loneliness is another precipitating factor to people's mental health deteriorating. In fact, last night my husband and I were FaceTiming with friends, and we're starting to book FaceTime social.
And there are you could get your children to show you the apps for doing this. I don't know about you, but my girls have got some astonishing technology in place so that they can have chats with countless numbers of friends at the same time. And there's online teaching stuff as well, actually, that we're looking into. But that I mean, if we were to take two thoughts away from what you've said, where does my power lie, or is this something that worrying or addressing is going to lead anywhere? And then for the benefit of other people who you might want to help, just reach out. And everybody benefits from that, actually, don't they? But even the person doing the reaching out, they will feel better at the end of the engagement than they did at the beginning. Yeah,
definitely. And, the things that we can do something about, do that. But
yes.
The things you can't, we just have to let them go for now. And like you said, it's a really difficult thing to practice.
But it is achievable.
Before we get into that routine of practicing it, absolutely it's achievable. Absolutely. And I'm practicing this for myself. So
yeah, I guess we all have to. And I mean, take it to its logical conclusion, we all become Zen masters. But in the meantime, just using up our mental energy, our emotional energy on things that we can actually influence rather than on things that we don't. Paula, how lovely of you to think that at a time like this, what can I do to help others? I'm very grateful to you